Yeah, maybe, but the racket will talk.
Welcome to episode 5 of the Racket Will Talk podcast. I'm Charlotte.
And I'm Sam.
And today we are here recording in person, which is slightly more exciting, I guess. Maybe not for you, the listeners, but for us, indeed. We're going to talk quickly about the last few weeks of tennis and the first few opening week, I guess, of Indian Wells, including any other things that have gone on so far. So we'll start with Austin, I guess, which was a 250, the WTA 250 in Austin, where Pegula won her 8th career title, something like that. Don't know. Defeating soon to be the world number 1 McCartney Kessler in the final. I can quite confidently say that neither of us watched much of this, and in no small part due to the horrible camera angle. Did you catch any of that at all?
I think I actually watched like a few, actually maybe more than that, maybe like 30 minutes of the final or something, because I was actually kind of interested in that matchup between Pegula and Kessler, who definitely were two of the like stronger players in that draw. So I mean, yeah, the camera angle is really rough, so you do actually kind of want to turn it off after a while, and the final honestly wasn't that exciting.
It was bad.
Yeah, neither of them really found their best tennis. Pegula kind of figured her stuff out earlier, and then she kind of ran away with it, but not the best from like either of them. So honestly, a fairly unremarkable week, but you know, that's okay. Good. It is good for Pegula to get some confidence back. She hadn't had the best start of the year for her standards, so you know, did well to win the title, and seems like she's carrying on with that form in Indian Wells. So it was a good choice to play there.
Good for her, not so much for me. The thing about this camera angle is I feel like it makes the tennis look worse. Like, yeah, you're watching it and you're like, no one's playing well, and then like actually you realise there's something to do with the camera angle. That's how I feel about it. Another kind of interesting thing about Austin was that Kvitova obviously played her return there. We mentioned that in the last episode where you had breaking news about it. She went on to lose that match to, it was that woman with 3 names, the British girl.
Oh yeah, Barrage.
Jodiana Barrage, yes. And she has also since lost, again, from a setup in Indian Wells. Did you watch... We can kind of use this as an opportunity to talk about her, because I doubt we'll talk about her in Indian Wells. Did you see any of her comeback?
So I think I think maybe a whole set of her first match in her first and only match in Indian Wells, where she also took it to 3 sets, which is...
It's the same thing as she was a setup, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And she ended up losing 3, but I mean, that's a decent start to a comeback, I would say, especially, you know, after a pregnancy break and being, you know, I think 33. Obviously not the easiest of comeback attempts, but seems like she at least can sustain, well, for the most part, the level of like competition. So maybe she will actually surge quicker than we think, and who knows.
I think winning from a setup is quite promising, because losing from a setup, it kind of suggests that she's got the level but maybe not the fitness yet. So actually, like, she can win a set against people. Of course, she's not playing the absolute best players in the world. It was, who did she play here in Indian Wells? That is a fun memory game. Yeah, no idea. I think if I sat with it for 5 minutes, I could get it. Someone like Victoria Golubic.
Gracheva.
Varvara Gracheva, okay. That's not really like Golubic, is it? She's got Oh, they have the same initials, that's why.
Oh. Okay,
that was a good... Okay, I'll take that as a W.
Good shout, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was that for Austin. That was obviously the tournament that Keys was kicked out of. So it feels like Pegula's got her people behind the scenes rigging the draw a bit. The WTA also played in Merida in Mexico, where it was inexplicably a 500 tournament, and it felt, as we expected, decidedly un-500. Emma Navarro won the final there, double bageling Emiliana Arango. Have I added in an extra syllable there?
You might have.
Okay, Emilia Arango. Yeah, in the final. So, what to say on that?
I mean, kind of similar to Pegula, a player who
is rich.
Well, yes, and also hadn't been in the best of form recently. So for her to pick up some wins, obviously that's good confidence boosting, and that's also 500 points, which honestly that run really didn't deserve at all. But that's really not up to her or anything. So
they need to do there should be there is in gymnastics, a jury that after a tournament has finished, they assess how many points that was worth. So you kind of come up with an estimate at the beginning. You say, this is a 500 tournament. But then afterwards they say, actually, that was so bad, we're only going to give you 60.
Well, but, she did what she had to do. Obviously, beat mostly everyone quite comfortably. And that's, well, actually she has lost and did well. So maybe hasn't quite carried on that form. But
who?
She has.
Who?
Navarro.
Oh.
She has lost to Vikic.
Oh, yeah, okay. It happened overnight.
Yeah.
We'll allow it.
Well, but anyway, that's really... I would say the main, storyline from that really is the fact that some of these, upgraded 500 events that we've had recently really just don't cut it as far as, draws. This had, 5 top 20 players initially.
Yes, Sakari and Hadad-Meyer were there, but no one you go, ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah, no, I mean, and also Kalinskaya had to pull out, so turned out to be a way too comfortable run, honestly, for a 500. I don't remember many such 500 winning runs, that.
How many points did Muguruza get for that one where everyone pulled out?
500.
Okay, so maybe it's there, that level.
I mean,
because also Navarro had a bye, right? So she played 4 matches.
Yeah.
Against, I mean, if a double bagel is your final, you shouldn't be able to get points, and therefore Iga did not really win Rome in 2021.
I don't know about all that, but
and Steffi has 1 fewer slam, so there we go.
Okay, well, that's really neither here nor there, but that is what happened in Merida. I mean, honestly, I don't even think it's really helped the tournament, but
yeah, I don't know enough about business and what goes on behind the scenes to know what the decision is from that. Do the locals really care that much if it's a 500 on paper to be able to charge more for tickets, or do people tune in more? I don't think so,
For the locals, I don't think it matters at all, it's the same tennis tournament, but yeah, I think it matters more for the organizers and the WTA, but I don't think it even makes the product look good, when you see this tournament that's supposed to be, well, pretty strong, Some 500s are insanely strong. Some have, in Stuttgart you often have one of the best runs of the year whenever someone wins that one. So I don't think it looks really good for anyone.
Yeah. And what we had, what was it, 2 years ago before they changed the rules of the 500 was that 500s were probably across the board too strong for what for what you got from it. So it would be things like Stuttgart, the Berlin tournament, and you'd have pretty much all the best players in the world, and they'd pretty much all have to play other good players because the draws weren't huge. Now you've got some of them, and then some 500s that are this one, which is anyway. Bit to me, as we said in the previous one, and especially I said, I do think it's good to have bigger tournaments in this part of the world, and I am pro that because you see the crowds are pretty much always great, and it's an exciting place to be, an exciting place to play, but they need to be genuine big tournaments, not just on paper big tournaments. The worst thing to happen on that final day was not Arango being double bageled, it was that daddy-daughter dance that Navarro's father did. Did you see that?
I did not see that.
Yeah, I wouldn't look at it.
Yeah, no, I don't really want to see that, honestly.
It was upsetting. If you want to be made to feel uncomfortable, I'm happy for this kind of thing to happen, but she didn't look comfortable in it, and it was just, it was so awkward. Yeah, not the vibes. I think he was going for vibes, and the vibes weren't there. So yeah, that's the WTA for 2 weeks ago. The ATP also played in Chile. There was a 250, and then had those greedy double 500s in Acapulco and Dubai. What should we start with?
With Chile, I think.
Chile, yeah. Did you watch any of it?
Not a single point, I'm afraid, you know.
I actually, like, no offense, I couldn't tell you what the court looks like. I don't think I saw pictures of it. But Sebastian Baez failed to do back-to-back and extend his winning streak, but he did make the final, and he lost to Laslo Djere, who I really like. He's one of the biggest chokers on the ATP Tour, so nice for him to be doing well, and he has actually got quite a nice game. Again, not much to be said for that for that tournament there. Anything else?
No, I mean, good for him. Yeah, Jere, I do appreciate as like a really good clay courter, you know, who has had some big wins in the past. I think he was injured for a while, so
he's got a 500 on clay, I think. Also in the Golden Swing a few years ago.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
I think he beat Felix.
So yeah, I mean, good for him. That's always an exciting result, even though we weren't ourselves all that excited about the tournament, but you know, that's really not that important. And yeah, the more exciting events were the 2 500, as we said.
Although it does mean that now 2 Serbians have won tournaments this year on the men's side, and none of them have been Djokovic. So if you're a Djokovic hater, that's probably quite fun.
I mean, I guess so. I mean, if you like Serbians and not Djokovic, I think that's good.
Yeah, the rare breed of person who's like pro Serbia, anti Djokovic.
Does that even exist?
No, there'll be someone.
Okay. And then yeah, in Acapulco, Macháč won his first title, which is quite relevant, I would say. But that tournament was also kind of decimated by illness. Yeah, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah,
quite a few good players, actually, really good players, had to either pull out or like withdraw mid-match because they were just too ill to compete. I think it was something with the food, unfortunately. And that did derail the tournament and made that run for Macháč quite a bit easier, I would say.
I think it was Rune, Fritz, who else? Maybe Tommy Paul,
yes.
Zverev
might have been
badly,
ill as well.
Yeah, and he said it was he. You know, I imagine him being like losing badly, and then seeing everyone else talking about the food poisoning, and he went, "Oh yeah, I had that too. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I was ill. Yeah." that I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if he said that, if he thought that. But actually,
that is quite possible. Yes,
he could have also been ill. But I woke up one day, opened the tennis app, and I was like, "What is going on?" Yeah, but still a very good like result for Macháč, and like rankings wise, if you're someone who's predicted him to finish in the top 20 this year, that's a nice 500 points on his tally. I
think he's made it inside the top 20 now.
Yeah, but stop the count. Yeah. Oh, like on his.
Yeah. I think we actually did a prediction that was like, who is a player who hasn't made top 20, who is going to make it?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I did say Macháč, I think.
I said Anisimova.
Yeah, on the women's side, yeah.
It's on the women's, so look at that.
Yeah.
And he beat Alejandro Davidovich Fokina in the final, which was sort of a bittersweet week for Foki, because obviously he lost from match points up in that final in Delray Beach. You know, you think a final run in the tournament immediately afterwards is actually it's a really nice result. Should be kind of boosting to your how you feel and how you feel about your game, etc. But then losing another final, and a final that was probably winnable.
I actually don't think it was
winnable. You don't think it was winnable?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Macháč like served super well, way better than usual, and so I think actually Fokina did well to even get that into a tiebreak in the first set. But yeah, I don't think he had that many opportunities to actually take it, so I think it's just a strong way for him.
Yeah.
So I don't think he would feel nearly as bad as you would after Delray. So
yeah. Okay, fair enough. And this is another sort of bonus bit. After losing in the final from match points up in Delray Beach, Alejandro Davidovich Fokina then immediately won his first match in Acapulco from match points down. If anyone knows, like, off the top of their head, well, or you want to do research on my behalf if this has been done before, you know, losing from match points up, then winning from match points down, back-to-back matches. I feel like Leylah Fernandez did it. She did in Indian Wells. Do you remember a few years ago when she beat Camila Osorio in that final where the lights went out?
Oh, yeah.
On one of the match points. She won that from match points down, and then... No. Maybe she... Anyway, maybe she won from match points down two matches in a row, which is a slightly different thing. Anyway, if anyone knows, can find out. I would be interested to know. And then I think the biggest news of that week then, tennis-wise, well, like tournament-wise, was the 500 in Dubai, where Stefanos Tsitsipas took his first ever 500 title after 8 final losses.
More than that, I think it's like was it 11 or something.
Wow, that's crazy.
It was one of the weirdest stats actually on the ATP tour. That's not really something that should happen ever to someone who was a top player for several years, but he was kind of really just a weird record. But he has, you know, fixed that in a sense. But more than that, really, it was about him finding really good tennis for the first time in what feels like a really, really long time. I mean, his backhand somehow was on. He was making way more returns. Everything just about his game just seemed to click somehow after not doing so for at least a year. I mean, he had a decent clay swing, but...
he wasn't as good. Like, he was... The thing is, his game on clay is always better. I do think this was a better performance than anything that happened last year, including he won Monte Carlo, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is now his kind of... Yeah. His freebie tournament. Kind of, yeah. And the big kind of news behind that, and it was a big improvement in his backhand, the return as well, but like there was one match where his backhand was just outrageous. I think it was a semi-final, right? On those little shot score sheets that Infosys, I believe it is, do. Is it them?
I think it's Tennis Insight.
Tennis Insight, yeah, sorry. Inaccurate shout out. He was like 9.8 out of 10 for his backhand.
It's not something that you feel like should ever happen, honestly, but somehow it has happened. So
yeah, that's like a Jannik Sinner, Novak Djokovic type rating. But yeah, it was very good. The big news behind that was the racket switch. So he has moved away from a Wilson. He's now got like a blacked out frame. The general consensus is that it's a Babolat. I'm still hoping it's a Yonex, but I believe it is a Babolat racket. So yeah, seemingly interesting how much something like that can change your game, whether that was purely or majority a psychological thing. I know he's also parted with his dad as a coach, right?
Yeah, but that was a while ago.
Okay.
Like last year.
Okay. But, you know, it might take time for these things to kick in. But yeah, genuinely really, really, really good week for him. He beat Felix in the final, who keeps moving along apart from the big tournaments this season. Yeah, and I guess that could kind of segue into Indian Wells, because Tsitsipas looking really good in Indian Wells as well.
Yes. We just went through what you could call the first week of Indian Wells, which starts off really rough. Like every single time, I'm actually quite surprised. You would think you get used to it, but no. Every time we have this like 128 draws, but with 32 buys for...
32 buys is just crazy.
It's absurd for the seeds. And so you have 2 days. When you look at the order of play, it's like, what even is this, you know?
They're qualifying matches. I mean, I don't know why there's pretty much a qualifying draw. Like, you haven't got any of the top players in. They're all, you know, players that you don't really normally see playing on centre court on their own. They feels like an extended qualifying tournament, basically.
Yes, and so, I mean, I watched a bit of that. I think I watched Fonseca on day one or something.
Yeah, he played Jacob Fernley.
Yeah. And honestly, not much else.
That was that was Indian Wells determined that was a highlight. That was going on. That was on centre court, right? So just so you can get an idea of what it looks like in those first few days. Like, obviously Fonseca's exciting, but
yeah, no, I mean, what else even happened in the first few days? I mean, Naomi Osaka lost.
Kvitova played.
Kvitova played.
Victoria Dracheva.
Well, she lost in 3. Okay.
Naomi played the worst match of her career.
Supposedly.
Her words, not mine.
Yeah. She lost to Camilo Sayo, losing in I think 6-4 or 4-6, 4-6. And apparently just missed a bunch, which can happen. Hasn't really happened this year actually, so kind of frustrating honestly, because last year she was healthy a lot of the time and played a bunch of events, but never really seemed to find good form. And this year it seems to be the opposite for the most part, where she is playing well, but can't seem to be healthy for extended periods of time. So she took off the Middle East swing, and now she returned and seemingly didn't really find her groove. So a bit disappointing. She'll be hoping to bounce back in Miami.
You know what? I think like maybe this is giving too much credit to her. Way too much credit to her. She does perform well, like the bigger the stage, and I feel like she almost is on our page here with like being in Indian Wells those first few days, and she's like, it's kind of eerie, and there's like no one really. It doesn't feel like a big event, and you can almost, I don't know, not quite get it. You remember she lost in qualifying in Canada or Cincinnati last season as well, and I was like, wow, it is over. But then actually, you put her round 1 against Ostapenko at US Open, and the levels were a lot better again. So I don't know, maybe she really struggles to perform unless she feels like it's worth her level. Having said that, she should win this match even when it's not great Naomi. You were not asking much of her. She beat Osorio in like 30 minutes once at the Australian Open, 2022 I think it was. So a shame, but maybe we focus on Miami. Maybe all the good players will be tired out and she'll have time to do well there. Or
And speaking of good players, on the women's side, that really has been the story so far. I wouldn't go as far as saying that everyone is playing well, but a lot of them are actually playing well and are still in the draw. We are into the round of 16 stage, and I mean, especially on the bottom half, I think it is, it's just, for all 4 matches all 4 round of 16 matches in that half are so strong, so strong. You have Swiatek against Mukova, you have Zheng against Kostyuk, you have Pegula against Vitolina, and then you have Andreeva facing Rybakina. So every one of these is at least decent and up to really great if you account for Mukova, Swiatek, and Andreeva, Rybakina, I would say. That's obviously really exciting, and I mean, mostly all of them have played quite well in that half. And then on the...
Are you going to do all this off the top of your head?
I mean, I remember like most
of these. Okay.
And on the top half, you have not quite as many, I would say, exciting players or like top players still in it, but a bunch of them still are alive. You still have Sabalenka, you still have Goff, you still have Keys. So it's actually almost opposite vibes from the Middle East, where a lot of these, top 10 players struggled and lost early.
And that's kind of what we commented. Well, I said that, wouldn't be surprised if they find that motivation and desire to then be back to their levels again in Indian Wells and Miami. There is one person you forget to mention who is apparently got a 100% win rate in WTA 1000 matches, who plays Sabalenka next.
Oh, Sonia Kartal, yes. I did forget about her, actually. So, I mean, good for her on making it that far.
Very good for her.
Well, yes.
I think she might be good. Honestly. She keeps having these runs where you're like, why is she still here in the tournament? But then if it happens a lot, maybe she's good. She's got a title in Monastir.
Oh, yeah.
Don't make that up.
I'm not sure.
I think she's got a title. I feel like at some point I saw a tweet that said Sonny Cartel now has the same number of WTA titles as Karolina Muchova. So
that's a good way to remember
Yep,
people who have
exactly.
1 or 2 titles. But yeah, we have had some decent matches. Honestly, not that many. On the women's side, you had Bencic against Anisimova, which was, I think, had some high points. Bencic won.
where was the power coming from? They're all just redirecting, and they're like, someone needs to provide us with some power.
Yeah, I mean, seems like Bencic was able to out redirect Anisimova somehow, which I can see happening. I think she won 6-1 in the third, so she closed it out quite convincingly. And then she actually went on to beat Schneider in 2 sets. We watched like almost all of that yesterday.
Scam.
Well, no, not really. They just made it to 4-4 in both sets, and then Bencic like broke and held.
They made it to 4-4 in both sets, and Schneider decided to play the rest of the games with her eyes closed or something like that. They're just shots going wide and long, and yeah, didn't have to happen. She's still having a bad season, really. Actually, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, she really hasn't lived up to her, 2024 standards, but still a lot of time to go, of course. But
Yeah, but we all have her in the top 10, so
well,
you got to get moving.
indeed.
Someone who, this is not part of the conversation really, but Bencic's probably quite likely to make the top 10.
She just made it back to the top 50, and she literally just came back, so that's really impressive.
Yeah.
Top 10, I guess we'll see, but so far this season, she's up there.
Very good, yeah.
And then I think Keys and Mertens would be probably the other highlight match so far, as far as like excitement and drama. I think had a lot of it. Keys was up by quite a lot in that second set, having won the first as well. Arguably, maybe kind of threw it away.
What do you mean, arguably? She definitely did. I'm pretty sure she had break points in every Mertens game, service game, and she had like 5 match points in different places.
Well, she does struggle against Mertens sometimes, so maybe
yeah, makes sense. Mertens is the ultimate tools player. Maybe Siniakova.
Well, yes, but Keys did actually come through.
Thank God.
So she's still in the tournament. She still hasn't lost since the Auckland quarterfinal, yes, against Towson. And who knows where she goes from here? Maybe she wins this as well. It's possible.
Madison Keys having her 2011 Djokovic in her age 29 season. I've got a take on Keys, but I'll leave it to later. So that's a little early Easter egg for you. What else? Who else is still left? Oh, we watched also Coco against Maria Sakkari, who is now outside of the world's top 50 in the live rankings, because obviously a good chunk of her points every year seem to be coming from regular Indian Wells finals appearances. She lost to Coco. We watched, what was it, the last set?
Yeah, the second set. And
it was bad.
I think from Goff it was fine, honestly.
The last game was not fine.
Oh yeah, we'll come on to that. But Goff, in her first match against Ushijima, she struggled badly. I think she was up to like 71 errors, 20 on double fault. That's pretty much the worst of Goff, which we had already seen in both Dubai and Doha. So that was, I guess, quite concerning. But then she showed up against Sakkari and I think played way better than she did before that. So she won the first in a tie break, and then she did have a fairly decisive edge in the second set. But for some reason, when she tried to close it out, kind of was back to her worst for some reason.
And then some. It was like probably one of the worst games she's ever played. Given that, but from both of them.
Yeah, she double faulted
6
times, yes. And every single time, the double fault would be followed up by a Maria Sakkari forehand into the net. I actually think it happened like 5 times or 4 times.
Yeah, Coco would hit a double fault that looked kind of uncomfortable and predictable because she was aware of the fault that the double faults were happening. and then she'd make a good serve or a decent serve, and then Sakkari would pretty much get on top of the point, load up on a forehand, and into the net. Back to deuce. And then back to Coco, double fault. Like, yeah, it was comical. It was like they're playing hot potato with that game. But Coco came through. I guess all of these are probably still just making her stronger as a player. I don't know. I find it a bit confusing where we're at with her and like whether, because we always keep saying like, okay, it's good that she can win when she's playing bad, but you know, every week, every month, every year she'll be improving all those things, and like you don't want to see her when she's on top of it, which is true. Like when she is playing well, we don't want to see her, as in like her opponents don't want to see her. If you root for someone else, you don't want to see her in the draw because she's very, very, very good. But I kind of feel sometimes like one step forward and maybe not 3 steps back, but 1 step back again. I don't know. Like,
I mean, it really is strange, you know. I was wondering that yesterday. I was thinking about her, and I'm like, how many players who are as good as her, you know, so it's people who have won slams, quite young, you know, so like really elite. How many of them have played like as badly as she has? And I mean, in her better seasons, you know, so it's not like,
and for quite a prolonged period, because
yes,
she can get away with playing that badly.
Exactly, yes. I think it's really unique, you know. I really want to like look into it. I think Kuznetsova also, as a top player, had quite a few really rough performances, so maybe that's another example. But I think it's interesting to like think about, because obviously that hasn't prevented her from having obviously some way better weeks, and also some weeks where she wasn't great but still winning. So none of it really has prevented her from doing well, which definitely is the most important part of this whole thing. But I mean, as an observer, it's just art, I guess. It's very specific and peculiar to just see someone who is ranked like number 3, who is a generational talent most likely, and to just see her not play well very often.
What do you think it is specifically about her that lets her play so badly and still win? Like 71 unforced errors and still win. Okay, it's Uchijima, not the best player in the world, but we've seen this for seasons, that she can still win playing so badly. Is it like a mentality thing? Is it scrapping? And
I think she's just really good at competing, you know, and because it has happened so often, it's like, well, I kind of know what to do. I mean, I just have to keep trying, and that's what she's able to do, and it's impressive. But at the same time, as we said, yeah, you probably do want her to have less of these, not more.
Well, it's definitely still, well, probably still the majority of the time she plays poorly or fine. Sometimes she plays horrendous, and like then she'll have a little spell of being excellent. But you do want that balance to be tipped more in favor of being excellent, because she is a top player and she is a great player and she's a great like part of the WTA elite, and we want her. I mean, we want good tennis, so we want like people to be doing well while playing well. Yeah, who else? Anyone else kind of on the women's side lost early? Anisimova, Tabencic.
Yeah.
Fair loss. Who else is relevant?
Really not many. I think before last night, when Navarro lost to Vekic, the whole top 10 was still alive in the tournament, quite deep in. I mean, almost round of 16. So they are all still in it, which is impressive. I actually think it's worth shouting out Sabalenka's win against Kessler, because that was probably one of the hardest first match you could have at the moment.
Well, yes, as we know about McCartney Kessler.
Yeah.
I actually think they're both playing really well. I'm still on the Kessler thing. I think she's excellent. I think Sabalenka was good, very good though.
Yeah, I mean, it's impressive, especially considering that she hadn't been playing well. So it's kind of like a really tricky first match to come back on. But she found a way, figured it out, and won in 2. So that's a good sign, a really good sign, I would say, for Sabalenka. And then she dismantled Bronzetti, which obviously not surprising, but it seems like Sabalenka is, as she kind of promised, honestly. She said, you know, I want to play well at Indian Wells, and so far she is living up to that.
She is, like, does at the moment seem to be in that position of, like, identifying a tournament or a stretch that she wants to play well in, and then really being able to get into gear for time, in time. I think that's really impressive, and like for a player like her who is definitely an all-time great, but not big three or Serena levels of all-time great where they can just win everything through the season. She probably still has to pick and choose what to win in order to like basically almost just to not burn out. She seems to be quite good at finding the form in time. Are we going to go look forward to the future matches now, or is there anyone else worth talking about? Iga made her way through easily. Yeah. She's looking comfortable on the supposedly changed resurfaced courts.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually something we can mention. So right before the tournament, we found out that they changed surface providers, and they actually gave a reasoning for it. And they said basically they wanted Indian Wells to play more similarly to Miami and the US Open, which I found confusing, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't think that's really like the spirit of the tennis tour, or at least what it should be, you know.
And particularly not. It would make sense if those were the lead-up tournaments to the US Open, right? And it's the same. Cincinnati kind of likes to play like the US Open, but they're half a year away, so there's no point. Like, what's your?
Yeah, I mean, being similar to Miami, I mean, I kind of get it, but also it's kind of the point of the Sunshine Double, you know. It's difficult because they play very differently.
Yeah.
But anyway, they try to make it different. It's not all that different for now. Maybe that will change next year, you know. I think it was like quite a short notice change, so I do think they tried to make it quicker and kind of just failed somehow. Because as we see, it's still, you know, quite slow, quite high bouncing, so same old Indian Wells, and which is why, you know, the defending champions so far seem really comfortable.
Rebecca is also playing quite well. She's still in the draw. I don't think we mentioned her.
Exactly, yes.
Oh, you did, because she's playing Mira. Okay.
Yeah.
I reckon I'll run through the round of 16s, and I want you quickly to pick your winner for each of them. Okay. Sabalenka Cartel.
Sabalenka.
Samsonova Paolini, an Italian off.
Samsonova.
Not surprising. Goff Bencic.
Bencic.
Okay. Vekic Keys.
Keys.
Rybakina Andreeva.
Andreeva.
Svitolina Pegula.
Pegula.
Zhang Kostyuk.
Zhang.
Muchova Swiatek.
Swiatek.
Okay, so you think you've gone for the obvious one in all of them apart from Samsonova.
Yeah, and I think Svitolina Pegula is kind of like up in the air. And so is Andreeva. So is Andreeva Rybakina, actually.
Actually, who did you pick? I didn't.
I went Andreeva.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That would be pretty wild if she got two in a row. Okay, and then who do you think's going to win?
I'm not sure, actually.
Well, no, that's why it's a prediction.
Yeah, well, yeah. You know what? Because I like her path to like the final way more, I think I'll actually go Sabalenka.
Yeah, I see that. I think Sabalenka will beat Chinwen. Yeah, that'll make sense. Oh no, I think Keys will beat Chinwen. Why not? Let's go all the way. Okay. That's. I don't know if there's any other stories. I had down here that Haddad Maya's having a rubbish season. Quietly, she is on a 5-match losing streak. She's won 2 times this year and lost 8.
I don't know how that happens, honestly.
As a player like her, like just make the match longer.
Yeah, I mean,
they'll stop at some point.
It is really confusing. Honestly, I haven't watched enough of her to have like a strong read as to like what's in her game isn't working, but I don't know. It's really quite strange.
Yeah, that was the other kind of under the radar thing, because she has been a perennial top 15, 2015 player for like 3 years since she did that crazy grass season, and I feel like everyone's kind of been waiting for her to, you know, not be there anymore. I guess they got their wish. Is the pusher dying out? Are we now having an era of the redirector?
And the bashers as well are having a great time.
Yeah, but the bashers are always there.
That's true, yes.
Like Anisimova, Bencic, even Andreeva, I'd put them in a bit of redirect category. Kasatkina's, you know, not elite. Pegula, if you're being generous, could be classed as a redirector. And Zachary is rubbish now as well.
Honestly, I think like the fate of the pusher is in the hands of Goff.
Off. Yeah, I suppose so. Navarro also a redirector, I think. You think she's a pusher?
Probably more of a pusher. But, I wouldn't put Bencic and Navarro in the same tier. I don't think that really makes sense to me.
Ons Jabeur also lost early in a very, very poor manner to Yastremska?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, bit concerning because I thought she was like maybe a bit back. Okay, on to the men, I suppose. There was a lot of upsets, I guess you could call them, in the first week. Zverev lost pretty much the first match that any half-decent player played, I feel like, to Talon Griekspoor. Comeback win for Griekspoor, who won the final 2 sets in tie breaks. They've had like a lot of tight battles, I believe,
and every single time actually Griekspoor would lose. So
and he'd been up.
Yes.
Like especially that Roland Garros one, I think was the most memorable.
It was actually quite egregious. He was playing better. He was probably supposed to win that match, but he did not. Obviously, Zverev hung on. That's what he can do. But Griekspoor did have like a really big problem against like elite opposition, which he could push fairly consistently, but never beat almost.
Yeah, he's like a player you see he's going to play a top player, and you'll tune in for the match because it will be a good match, but you won't predict an upset.
No, and I mean, he also beat Medvedev in Dubai in like similar fashion in like a really tight match. So that's a really good sign for him mentally, and it's just something to draw upon when he finds himself in these situations again.
I did say if Talon Griekspoor, I just got back from the Netherlands, so I thought I should try it. If he ever becomes a clutch goat, you got to be worried, because if he took even 20% of his chances, he'd be higher up, more relevant. I suppose you could probably say that for a lot of players, but he has got game. He is a good player. And yeah, nice to see that result. Very nice to see that result, actually. Zverev still really failing on that chase to number one.
I do. At this point, I think we can confirm that it's getting to him. It's really getting to him, Like you could say, oh, he was kind of like sick in February, okay. I don't think they're like an excuse anymore. I really think it's getting to him, It's as big as an opportunity as he might ever get, and clearly he's feeling that.
Also, the thing is, like, I think every match you lose in a tournament, you've wasted opportunity to get points on. There's more pressure on the next one, so it probably even ramps up higher and higher. So maybe we've got a good stretch of very poor performances from him, but looking very unlikely, right? Unless Sinner comes back and is bad on return. Yeah. But he also has sort of threat from behind in the shape of Alcaraz. Who else lost? Obviously Ruud, yeah. Rublev, who's having a strange season, really. Like, I don't know, that he seemed to be healed in some way by the Doha win, and he lost to Matteo Arnaldi in straight sets. Like, whatever, don't know what's going on in the ATP. Felix as well. There's like a bunch of these guys who are doing well in the smaller tournaments and doing very badly in the bigger ones. Felix lost to Brooksby. I think that's mostly it for small news. And then Djokovic also lost to, oh no, Botic van der Zandschulp.
He did. And it's one of these where it's like, it's not good that he's not playing well, we can agree on that, I suppose. But also, it's a really established pattern for Djokovic to just not play well between like Australia and then until Rome. It really feels like he takes like some time off, and then he needs like so much time to get back to form, and then he can actually play well at like Rome and RG. That's pretty much what it is. And this is no exception, I do think British like played well. He can do that against people who are like super favored against him. It's becoming a pattern, He beat Alcaraz at the US Open, and not Djokovic.
And obviously, I mean,
he was
very much on his last leg, but on Nadal in the Davis Cup as well.
Yes. So he does seem to thrive in those situations. So not that surprising that he was the one to do it. But yeah, it's just not sure what to make of that, honestly. It's kind of always the same with Djokovic these days. I do think if he shows up, he wants to do well. But I mean, a lot of the time he shows up knowing that he hasn't actually prepared enough to play well and compete and be physically strong enough. So just one more of those.
You know what I think it is? I think Djokovic is throwing a bone to his old buddy Federer and saying, I'll let you be the last big three guy to win Indian Wells, and I'll let you be the last big three guy to win Miami, and we'll call it that. When was the last time Djokovic played Miami? 18?
Or 19.
I don't think he played in 19. I think that was the one where loads of people pulled out. Let me check.
Team won. Oh no, that's,
no.
That's wrong.
Federer won.
Federer, yeah.
He beat someone tall in the final.
Isner.
Was it? Yeah. I think that was the tournament where like some people had kind of breakthroughs, like Chapeau beat Tsitsipas. Anyway, that's very off topic now. Yes. Talking about the tournament we're not in from 6 years ago.
But yes, and I mean, what else on the ATP? Draper is doing,
very well.
Pretty well, yeah.
He's a great player.
Yes, he beat Fonseca actually really comfortably, so that was probably a surprise for a lot of people who would have expectations for Fonseca, especially knowing that Indian Wells is the most clay-ish hard court.
Although, what I noticed with a lot of the boys, younger boys, I think, is that they succeed on clay first. Maybe this is true for the women as well. And I think it might just be when you're younger, that might be, you're more used to the surface, you're the physical attributes that come from being like a teenager rather than being an adult man suit clay more. I don't think necessarily that clay will be his best surface in the future, the same way that when Carlos was first playing on the ATP, we were like, oh, this guy's great on clay, let's see how he does on other stuff. But actually now, I'm not sure. Clay's probably his second best surface. I get by the numbers, you'd probably say grass is his best surface. It's the only slam he's won twice.
Yeah, there is like obviously way less data, but that's what it's suggesting. And I mean, yeah, on the ATP, not much else, honestly. So round of 16 matches some of them are decent, not that many, honestly.
Actually, they are. I will go out there and say very few of them are good.
Yeah.
You've got Greek sport Watanuki, who beat Tiafoe, I believe.
He did.
Rune Tsitsipas, which is a good match, and these guys have a juicy little history. Okay, not that juicy. They have a good head-to-head that Rune leads 3-0. They both have the Moratoglu attachment. They kind of have that my parents too involved in my tennis career situation. I don't know, and they also both overplay, generally. They're kind of similar. Anyway, all should be a great match. Giron, Fils, never know where Marcus Giron comes from, but he's there. Tommy Paul, Daniel Medvedev, good match. Nakashima, Shelton, Draper, Fritz, good match. Cerundolo, Dimonor, not for me, and Dimitrov, Alcaraz. So
half of them are good.
Half of them are good. If Dimitrov is healthy, that could be a good match. I know that they have quite a nice.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, Dimitrov just played like a really tough match against Monfils.
Yeah.
So that's really pretty tough, I think, to try and bounce back against Alcaraz, who still loves Indian Wells. I actually think he's favoured by a lot to win this title. I don't think it's like close at all. I think the second likeliest maybe right now would be Tsitsipas.
He stole that from me. We were chatting in our own time about who would be the second favourite on the men's side, because it's pretty hard to pick out.
No, but I agree, I think it really makes sense. Medvedev might be on the way back. He played well in Dubai. He kind of threw against Greek sport, honestly. But
from match point up.
Yes, but he seems to be playing better, I would say. Has done well so far in Indian Wells.
Tommy Paul's a hard. I mean, both of those two players could lose that next round as well, which would then put Alcaraz in a very strong position. Like, as I said, Rune is 3-0 against Tsitsipas. Tommy Paul very much feels like the kind of player who could bother Medvedev if his heart's in it. He's he's not going to sit on the baseline and let Medvedev do his thing. Taylor Fritz as well, I suppose, he might be up there, previous winner. Yeah, I would put him above Medvedev, actually.
I don't think I would.
Well, and also Medvedev hates the Indian Wells hard courts.
Yeah, but he just made like 2 finals in the last 3, so.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay, what a liar. Also, I was thinking, we talked about he loves to do the things that are surprising. We know he hates Indian Wells and he's never won this tournament before, so that's like could be where he does his next thing. Yeah, what's your kind of picks for the men's?
I mean, I really do think it's Alcaraz beating Tsitsipas in the final.
Oh no, that would be so sad. Stefanos hates playing him.
He feels like really insecure.
Yeah.
It's
like you put him out there butt naked and said.
Yeah. And he says it too. He's like, this guy's like hitting too hard. I can't hit through him. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
He has admitted defeat pretty much whenever he plays him.
I honestly think if it weren't the US Open match that permanently fucked up that head-to-head, it was the next one, which was the
Barcelona.
in Barcelona.
Yeah.
And I think kind of from then, Tsitsipas was like, I'm never beating him.
Yeah, they had like back-to-back demolitions from Alcaraz at like Roland Garros, I think.
Yeah. Nowadays he barely even really shows up. It's kind of towards like Monfils Djokovic levels, like. Obviously, in terms of numbers, not that bad, but in the way that Monfils steps on court and you're like, he doesn't believe that this is going to go well for him.
Yeah.
I think in the way that, like, I think a few years ago, I was comparing it with the Coco Iga head-to-head and thinking what will end up being worse. But actually, Coco doesn't, this is kind of part of her being a really good competitor thing. She doesn't show up to those matches believing that she can't win, even when sometimes, in the past, she should have, because she didn't come particularly close to it. But every time she comes and she goes for it again and thinks she could win it, you don't see that in Tsitsipas against Alcaraz. Anyway, I think why not? I'll say we'll do Rune Alcaraz final. That'd be fun.
Sure.
Has he played well to get here? Oh, he beat Humbert in 3.
That's decent.
And Corentin Moutet. Okay. Francophobe Rune.
And I mean, that's kind of it on what we're expecting from Indian Wells. The women's side really could deliver some epics, so looking forward to that. We can maybe move on to some, on-court, off-court intrigue, kind of, with the WTA rebrand, where they teased it for quite a while, actually. it was kind of strange.
And then also some kind of unintentional teasing where players were posting pictures at Indian Wells and you could see the new logo in the background.
Yes, and so we found out that there is a whole rebrand thing going on where everything is like green, which I personally don't mind all that much. People have like really strong opinions on this whole thing.
Oh, how rare.
well, yes, but I mean, people were like doing a lot. Like, how could you do this? This is
not my purple.
Yes,
not my Pliskova outline.
That's really what it was giving. But I mean, I kind of like some of the like video games vibes, honestly, from the like.
Do you?
Yeah, I think it's decent. I mean, I don't have. It's okay. I don't feel all that strongly about it. My thing was like, is this really your priority? Which can be kind of shallow. It's like, oh, marketing is more important than you think, I guess. But like, fix WTA TV.
But is it like? It might be more important. I don't think it is actually more important than you think, because people think about marketing so much more than they think about the boring, dry kind of behind the scenes stuff. Like, what do you think? People think more about how the WTA logo looks, or they think more about the designation of points towards tournaments? I think they think more about the visuals. So in that case, the marketing is important, but the issues that we find as WTA fans with the WTA and women's tennis aren't really to do with how it looks or how it's even really sold on the world stage. I think they're in a pretty good position. There are some ways people generally recognise they could do better at that. I mean, their social media maybe isn't what you'd want it to be. Their YouTube is not what you want it to be at all, and the accessibility of watching the tennis is very difficult. I mean, it's getting ridiculous, and I know they can't control all of that, but tennis as a whole has to look at that. I'm just not sure it was needed, and it also specifically when they did the rebrand in 2020, the old logo felt a bit done. You know, like it did need a fresh new look because it didn't really feel like it lined up with the aesthetics of current time. But I think the old WTA logo they just had and the whole branding, that purple, was fine in terms of aesthetics of the modern day. Maybe they were going for a brat vibe. That would have been really funny if they'd just written WTA in the Arial narrow brat font.
This would have been ridiculous, but
kind
of funny. Yes.
It would have been so funny that I would have if they had done that for a bit, pretending that was the rebound. I was just on the WTA Twitter and they've got like some quotes about this. Marina Storti, who I'd never heard of, is the WTA Ventures CEO, says, "It's so much more than a new logo. We are redefining our mission for the future. It's about creating a lasting legacy to captivate fans and inspire change." And then Ons Jabeur says, "I'm proud to be part of it. It's my stage to inspire younger generations. Every girl has something special and I admire every player on tour. Thank you for your support because we will rally the world." There's been a lot of this talk about how the rebranding is more than just the look and that this is what we are hoping to be and become. But then I also want to know what they're going to do to become that, you know? It's nice to say we've got a mission about the future and we want to inspire change, all this kind of stuff. But then, okay, so how are we going to get there? What are you doing to put that in place other than just cool slogans and a logo and everyone just playing tennis in the same way?
Yes, so far it feels very corporate.
They'll just tell you that they're doing change instead of...
Very much so, yes. I mean, I guess we'll see, but that was a thing that happened.
Send us your thoughts on the on the logo change, because definitely we haven't seen enough.
Yeah, no.
No, I'm joking. I'm actually interested because I don't know what people think about it. I don't like it. I think it looks... Yeah, like a railway company. I'm not the first person to say that. The green also, I get it because tennis and stuff, but I like the purple look. I think that makes sense and it fits in. Okay, fine. People maybe get a bit tired of purples and pinks when it comes to women's organisations, but also I don't want us to completely shy away from that. I think it could look more tennis-y, but yeah. I like the logo, the Rally of the World thing, if they actually do some kind of rallying of the world.
Whatever that means.
Well, I think it could mean, I don't know, I could come up with a...
To me, it sounds like charity.
Yeah, it's trying to get everyone behind a shared cause and somehow use on-court stuff to improve the world. I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a lot in line with the work they're trying to do in Saudi Arabia, which was... When we had the WTA finals there last year, there were lots of comments about how they're trying to improve opportunities for women and girls and sport in Saudi Arabia, and they did actually do some of that. I remember the pictures from those sessions they held. So that feels like that could be a lot of the outcome from that. I know the PIF are quite heavily, literally invested in the WTA now, so... Yeah, we will see, as Sam always says.
We will indeed. But now let's move on to the prediction segment.
Another thing, hold on, just quickly. The Vondrousova injury, I think it's worth noting. She's going to be out for quite a few months, something like that. That's
yes, and Krejcikova is also out.
Not a great time for the... Well, when is it ever a great time for the Czechs? All at once. I feel like we can sometimes forget Vondrousova. Not me, because I love her, but we as a society can kind of forget her a bit and forget how plagued by injury she is. Like, when you look at her career, it is pretty much doing very well or being injured. Like, I think it's a bit underrated how much injury has affected her, and it's just pretty sad. And obviously for Krejcikova as well, I hope she can make it back in time for... I mean, like, that's not the second time she's won a slam and then been injured for a huge chunk in the run-up to defending that slam. Yeah. Pretty unfortunate. But maybe they kind of made a deal with the devil to say, you'll be an outrageously successful tennis nation, but you will also face a lot of injuries. Predictions. You go first. I know you're on the edge of your...
I'm really not. I'm literally coming up with them.
Yet. Okay.
So I would actually, yes, I did want to ask, with Tsitsipas coming back to decent, good form, hopefully, do you think he's winning a slam?
You stole another one of my ones. Do I think Tsitsipas is going to win a slam? I'm actually going to say yes. I see it in him. I mean, even if it takes him being 31 years old or something like that, I think he has so much. He is not a one-trick pony, and I don't really actually see him fumbling opportunities. You know, if he gets a kind draw in a semi-final, he doesn't have to play Alcaraz or Sinner. I see him taking his opportunities, and I kind of trust him to be good for longer than Medvedev, actually, I think. And obviously with more opportunities. So yes, I think Tsitsipas will win one. Yeah. What about you?
I don't think so. Okay. Still. Because if he doesn't face Alcaraz or Sinner, I think it's too big of a if at this stage, you know. I think you will need to be able to at least beat one of the two.
Do you think anyone can beat one of the two, though? If they're in the final, even 8. Okay, Botic van der Zandschulp could beat them early on, but because then I suppose your logic would maybe hold for every player.
Yeah, I mean, the top 8 as it is, outside of them, no, I don't see any of them doing it. So
you think actually Alcaraz and Sinner are going to win every slam for a while?
Until someone like Fonseca shows up and
really
gets. Okay. I think it's fairly likely, yes.
Obviously, maybe Djokovic.
I mean, I guess, yeah, Djokovic is an exception. Alcaraz is still can be upset, so that's a caveat to that, I suppose. But Sinner especially feels just so tough.
And so you think nothing for Rune ever?
Oh, I legit forgot about him. Things would need to change a lot.
I don't think they'll have to change that much.
I think you just need how to figure out how to play good tennis, which has been way more of a challenge than it should be for him. You know,
he could get Bjorn Frantangelo as his coach, and I think that's a slam right there. I didn't tell you I thought he might be a genius. I listened to his podcast with Randy Roddick, and I was like, he might be a genius.
Didn't he say that he only wanted to work with kids?
Yeah, but if you met Rune, you'd change your mind. Yeah, of course. But okay. I'm saying if he could find someone like that who works for him. I mean, I guess that's the aim for everyone, isn't it? Okay, I'll do one prediction then. Yeah. This one I literally just came up with now. I decided because you stole mine. What will be Donna Vekic's best career title when her career is over? This is not related to previous weeks, I don't think.
She'll win Canada once.
Okay. We've got 8 people winning Canada.
it feels like the most random, honestly.
Yeah, but it's just going to be Pegula for the rest of time, I bet.
Oh yeah, that's true. She actually dominates her. Yeah, I don't know. One of those, Canada, Wuhan. I don't think she could win one of the clay ones, honestly. Yeah.
You think she could win a 1,000? Yeah. Even though, have you seen her terrible record at 1,000?
She's for some reason terrible at 1,000, but I don't think it makes sense.
Could be her time now.
Oh, I don't know, but I think she could do it. 1 or 2. No, she couldn't.
2?
2 is possible.
You think Donna Beckett should be a 2-time 1,000 champion?
Sure.
And Mukova?
2 as well, but maybe 1 slam.
Okay, fine. Oh, that would be great. I think you're giving out many titles.
I'm very, very generous, I guess.
What about, okay, that was a freebie because it wasn't actually related to previous weeks.
Okay.
Emma Navarro, best career title. What will her palmarès look like when all is said and done?
15 titles.
Woo-hoo-hoo! She's probably already got like 6, hasn't she?
No, she had like 3.
That's quite.
The best one being like.
Merida.
No. No. Something better than that. Beijing.
Okay, no slams.
No.
Aww. She confuses me because I'm like, oh no, she's no good, and then she does something quite good, and I'll be like, okay, maybe she's good. Like the eye test says she's quite good, but then why is she losing? Who did she lose to? Vekic. That's fair enough. And this is my real. Have you got another prediction?
Draper.
I knew it was going to be on him.
That's so funny. Currently ranked actually 5th in the Elo rankings.
Is he?
Yeah, he is.
Wow, great player.
So
is that just behind Sinner, Djokovic, Alcaraz, Zverev?
Yes.
Wow.
Where do you think he'll be ranked at the end of the year in the actual rankings?
It's such an if though, because of this injury stuff. 7?
That's good.
Yeah. I think like just behind Fritz.
Okay.
Maybe.
I can see that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he'll have like a short period he misses from injury. I do think he might be underrated, you know. Like the rare case of a Brit being underrated.
I think people are like waking up, honestly. I do think more and more people see that he's actually a really strong player. Was lots of potential, I think.
Yeah. Okay, my last prediction I've got, I know I cheated and got a few this week, but what will be Madison Keys' peak ranking this season and year-end ranking? So,
peak ranking, you know what? I'll go number 3 this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then what's the end? And do you think she'll end there as well?
I do think it might be her peak, yes. Like overall, like the best year of her career.
No, but do you think at the end of the year she'll be number 3, like in the year end? Okay.
Oh yeah, that was my call, yes.
Okay. Do you want to know mine?
Sure, tell me.
Number 1.
Yes. I'm not surprised. I
think she'll be the year end number 1.
I do think it's possible, yes. Okay.
Maybe I'm overdoing it, but...
She has, as good a chance as Sabalenka and Swiatek. In theory.
No.
In theory, so far, that's what it looks like.
I think it will need Iga's already had a worse season than previous years, so I think it will need a slightly worse season, and actually I guess so has Sabalenka. It'll need a slightly worse season from both of them. I don't think she's going to get as many points as either of them did last 2 years.
The racket will talk. The your next racket will talk.
Exactly. It already has. Quite a bit. Okay, so Iga and Carlos are on for the double repeat. What's it called? Yeah, a repeat. The double-double.
No.
No?
Alcaraz is on for a repeat.
Yeah, but as a duo, they're on for a double-double.
Mm-hmm.
How many times in the century, so since 2000, have players done the double-double? At a 1,000 or a slam. I'm not asking you to do all of them. So that means the woman has defended and the man has defended. Both.
So at Indian Wells or anywhere?
Anywhere. This is not something I expect you to know off the top of your head because
no.
I don't either.
Yeah, no, it's really difficult. Surely Federer and Serena have quite a few of these. Yeah.
Or actually, maybe you could just list me the pairs of people who've done it instead.
So, Federer, Serena, Djokovic, Serena. Nadal, Serena.
Maybe. I don't
know.
know.
That one is actually I'm not as confident on.
Well, she won. I think she won Roland Garros back to back one time. Never.
She never did. No.
Oh no, she made the final and then Okay. They were the first pair to win all the slams together.
But then when Graf was doing it, no man was.
Oh,
anywhere near us
from 2000.
Tournament. Okay. Honestly, I can't think of any right now. Yeah. There probably are some, but they are just not coming up.
Yeah.
I think
There's probably not that many players who, outside the big four, who won a 1,000 or a slam back-to-back.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty rare, yes.
Well, let us know. Actually, let me know, because I haven't worked it out yet. So if you get your answer in early enough, I might have to say you're right without checking. Send in any predictions you have for this tournament. Yeah, Indian Wells. Any thoughts? What you think might happen?
As always, thank you for listening.
God, this was a short one.
Not that short.
It's felt pretty short.
Okay, so as always, thank you for listening. We appreciate anyone taking the time to check us out. You can do so on Twitter as well. You can leave us reviews and ratings on both Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Thank you if you do take the time to do that. We will talk to you again in a few days to break down what actually happened in the second week of Indian Wells. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next one.